Man's body is but patterned waves of light in motion. Waves disappear into the ocean's calm, but they reappear. The ocean is a part of the idea of creation. Waves express the idea of the power of the ocean, but the power and the idea are in the calm of the ocean, whether expressed by waves or not. The turbulence of the ocean springs from its calm just as the movement of the lever springs from its still fulcrum. All motion is a two-way extension of stillness. We do not think that the ocean is dead, while it is at rest in its calm, for we know that it will again manifest its power by waves of motion, when desire is strong enough in it for manifesting it by motion. Waves of light which give transient form to a man's body are but his body. They are not the man, nor the man idea. The body of the man is an extension of other waves of father-mother light in the sun, and the idea of man exists in the still light which centers the sun. Man can never die, for he is omnipresent light, and he exists everywhere. Likewise, man's body cannot die, for man's body manifests immortal man, and immortal man always has a body in which to manifest. This body which extends from the earth disappears into the heavens and the earth, but that which disappears to sensed man of earth has not ceased to be, for its pattern has been recorded for repetition. It still is and will reappear. The senses of man are not attuned to the rest of the cycle of man's bodily journey from disappearance to reappearance, but man's knowing reaches out over the entire cycle, and man can know eternal repetitiveness of his body when he knows God in himself. When water disappears beyond the senses as water, vapor, and gases, we know they will reappear as water when they have completed their cyclic journey. As man knows the light in him, he will as surely know that he will return from eons to complete the purpose of manifesting his Creator as one part of the whole idea. That purpose cannot be completed in one life cycle, nor in 10 times 10 million life cycles. Man has but begun to express the man idea on this planet. He still has a long way to go, and the body he needs in which to manifest will return to him as surely as the light of day reappears from the darkness of night into which it has disappeared. What happens after death? The unanswered mystery of where do we go when we die needs a comprehensive answer. Abstractions and theories are not satisfying. Nature's processes are simple and are all alike. What happens to one thing which disappears happens to all things. There are no exceptions to this process of nature. All things in the solar system come from the sun and return to it. The life germ for which man is seeking is in the sun. The idea of man is in the sun. Likewise, all idea of all things is in the sun, awaiting birth into form. The pulsing light of polarity borns all idea into its form when conditions are favorable for each idea to be mothered by an extension of the sun. Everything in nature is a moving extension from a still point of the one light. The center of the sun in our solar system is the point of still light, from which everything in the entire solar system radiates spirally and toward which it gravitates spirally for its resurrection into another cycle. The sun is the seed of the solar system from which all manifestations of idea in this entire system extend and to which they return. Motion is for the sole purpose of manifesting idea. All idea springs from a state of rest in its seed. As it unfolds from its seed, it refolds into it. It therefore follows that motion is a seeming two-way extension-retraction from and to a point, and has no existence save to senses, which sense but the extension, and not the voiding simultaneous reaction. All the suns of all the heavens are centered by the still points of omnipresent light, from which all idea extends and returns. Suns are seeds of idea. From those seeds all form emerges. To those seeds all form returns. The earth has been extended from the sun for that very purpose. Organic life is part of God's one whole idea. Organic life cannot be expressed in form in the sun, although the idea of it is there. Everything which appears on earth as form of idea is in the Son as concept of that idea in the seed. The seed is the Father light, which extends its idea of man and other creating things out into far space, where its children, the planets, have sufficiently cooled to manifest the man idea in organic form. Suns are crucibles which born their children, the earths, and set them out to cool in order that God's idea, which is in the formless suns, can manifest form in the sun's extensions. Suns are the seeds of creation. The Creator scattered His seeds of light throughout all space to Father and Mother, all borning imaged forms of His imagining. In the still center of suns is all idea for borning into the images of God's imagining. But in the oneness of the light of suns, they are without form and void. All seeds are without form and void, even though the pattern of all idea is in them. The oneness of incandescent suns must be divided and extended to cooling earths before the ideas of the mineral, vegetable, and animal kingdoms can sequentially unfold, to prepare the way for man's unfolding from his seed in the sun. All expression of idea of earth is likewise in the sun and must be extended to earth for manifestation. Mountains and oceans are in the sun, but also all things else. The crying sound of a newborn babe, or avalanche, or the street noises of a city, all of these are light, and such expressions of the light are possible only through division and extension of the one light into the two which manifest the one. Millions of years ago, this planet became sufficiently far from the sun for the water idea to be expressed as pairs of opposites, and organic life appeared upon the earth in lowly forms. These forms gradually complexed until the man idea began to be expressed, not by a germ, but by the polarization of light itself, as manifested in the interchanging heartbeat of the Father-Mother light of the universe. The idea of all things is omnipresent in the one still light. The expression of all ideas extended to the two lights of white suns and black space surrounding suns, which manifest the Creator's two desires. Desire for expression is manifest by the electric action-reaction sequences of interchange between the two opposing white and black lights of suns and space. It is this interchange which polarizes the still seed of the idea into unfolding form of that idea. To polarize means to divide stillness into opposing pulsing extensions. It is like extending a lever from a fixed fulcrum and setting it in motion to express the idea which is in the still fulcrum. In this manner, the womb of Mother Earth becomes impregnated with the seed of the man idea extended from the sun, and the first cell of man unfolds from Mother Earth into the heavens toward the refolding light of the Father. This first pulsation of the Mother light, which is borning God's idea into pattern form, is the black light negative half of its pulsation cycle. The unfolding Mother light, which reaches out into the heavens, is the black light of expansion. Black light is the negative pattern of the positive idea of light, as expressed by incandescence. In other words, black light is expanded or unfolded white light. Conversely, white incandescent light is contracted or refolded black light. This is nature's method of giving form bodies to formless idea. The positive Father light refolds the unfolding negative Mother light into cyclic wave pulsations, which man calls growth. But growth is but a moving picture of sequential patterns of unfolding idea projected upon the imaged three-dimensional screen of time and space. This is the Creator's method of electrically recording His one whole idea in many electrically sensed multi-pattern body forms of matter. Life and death of bodies. To understand the meaning of life and death, we must know more of nature's processes, especially those concerning our body, and the spirit within which motivates the body and forever records our constantly changing individuality. We must know the basis of our individuality and the reason for its constant changing, in order to understand what happens after death. We must become more fully aware of nature's processes which give us bodies and take them away to re-give new bodies to fulfill nature's law of repetition. Man's electrically sensed body is not the immortal man which his body manifests. His body is not the individual to which he attributes his life and being. His body is composed of a few chemical elements borrowed from earth and sun to fashion into an instrument for his use. When his body disappears, the individual which inhabited that body is not dead. Every body emerges from a formless state into a formed one in repeated cycles of appearance, disappearance, and reappearance. All creating things are formless as idea at their source. They then unfold into formed idea through desire to unfold. This process of emergence from a formless state and a return to that state has been going on within man's body since its beginning. All bodies of all creating things are forever turning inside out and outside in during their entire cycles. During a small part of the cycle, bodies are within the range of human sensing, but during the greater part of the cycle they are beyond that range. At no time during the entire cycle are creating things without bodies or patterned records of bodies, from which new bodies will again spring true to their pattern records. Each in-breathing, out-breathing cycle is unfolding the form of a new body from an already existent pattern record. The constant refolding process, which man calls death, is recorded as it refolds for repetition in its next life cycle. Nature records every action and desire of the body. Likewise, every conscious desire and thought of the soul in those cosmic elements, which are called the inert gases, helium, neon, krypton, argon, and others. These cosmic elements, which will not unite with the physical elements, are the basis of God's recording system, by means of which every thought and action of every creating thing is stored in them as seed extensions from sun and earth centers for repetition until their purposes are fulfilled. Everything in nature is purposeful, and nothing in nature fulfills its purpose in one life cycle. Nature multiplies the time dimensions of her light waves so that pattern records of forms which have expanded beyond man's range of sensing can come within that range, then divides those time dimensions until they again disappear into the other half of their cycle beyond man's range of sensing. Man's individuality. Man's greatest difficulty in comprehending what happens after he disappears in death is due to the lack of comprehension of his immortality, which never disappears. His visible body would be useless if it were not centered by his invisible immortal self, soul, or person. Man is aware of himself as an individual, but his concept of what constitutes his individuality is vague. His individuality is what he unknowingly interprets his immortal self to be. His self or soul never changes, never appears or disappears, but his individuality constantly changes to forever fit the changing concept of what he interprets his immortal self to be, as every man gradually comes to know the light of his self in him. His individuality changes by the constant uplift toward that increasing awareness of his centering omniscience. As greater awareness of the light of the universal self comes to man, he gradually loses his individuality and becomes more that universal self. When mankind has become fully aware of God in him, the play of man on this planet is finished, his purpose fulfilled, and the individual man ceases to be. Man loses his expression of life in matter to find eternal life in the light. There is no death. Period. Know thou that divided light which record my knowing are lights of suns, and darkness born of suns. All imaged forms of my all-knowing are born from dark to light, and mirrored back to dark for endless borning into light. Within still centers of my suns is my all-knowing, the still light of my knowing lights of my thinking, interchanged to manifest my knowing in moving forms of my imagining. Wherefore I scatter seed of my all-knowing throughout my kingdom as light of many sons and children of those many sons, to father mother my all-knowing in moving forms of my imagining. And behold, each son of my divided thinking fathers a whole universe of my imagining. giving light to its unfolding dark, to forever quicken dark by light. In this wise, all quickened idea of me within the heavens of earths and suns unfolds from dark wombs of earths to light of suns, to refold within tombs and wombs of earths, for reborning unto heavens of earths and suns. In this wise, my desire to give fulfilled by equal taking of my giving for multiplied re-giving. See thou that man well knoweth that I, the Father Mother of my universe, center all his givings and his re-givings and measure them with watchful eyes to balance them in me. Say thou to him that his moving is my moving, for without me he can in no wise move, e'en to manifest me in his moving. From the Divine Iliad. And here is a graphic called the Cosmic Clock. I hope I guess I'll have to try to find this, because this version, it's got a weird, this last section I've been working on, there's like a cut in between each page, and so anyway, it's been interesting trying to read it. But it's got a big plus on one side and a little minus under it, a big minus on the other side and a little plus on the other, and then directly opposite in the lower corner, a big plus and a little minus, and then directly opposite again from the other corner, a big minus and a plus. So it all equals out. It balances. And then it's interesting. I will be sure to include this. And this may be it for this evening. Yes, we have reached part 3. The Secret of Light, part 3, the mystery of gravitation and radiation, omnipresence, the universe of being. So that is where we will pick it up next time. I hope you guys are enjoying this. It's a little bit different feel, these last few chapters. And I want to say there should be lots of graphics in this last section, according to the... Yes, lots of graphics. Okay, so that's where we're going to pick it up. So cool. So the thing is, the spiral doesn't just go in one direction. And really what it does, this graphic, the one here, and I might include this too, but the Fibonacci spiral, when it starts, it kicks off another one. It's like there's one main one. There's one main one that goes, it's got the big positive. But then at the same time, there's another one that is kicked out from that spiral. And that is the negative side. It's really interesting. Thank you for watching. Please take care. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. And leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Till next time.